Tonight, the curtain is being ripped wide open on one of the greatest political scandals in American history. And guess who orchestrated it all? Ooh. Oh, I'm hearing it. And guess who orchestrated it? Do you guys hear that?
Yes. Keep going.
Okay. So it's all right. Let's start over. And guess who orchestrated it all? Barack Hussein Obama. America was duped by the smooth-talking face of hope and change, while behind the curtain, he was laying the groundwork for the biggest political con job in our nation's history. We fell for it once, never again. We've got the timeline, we've got the names, we've got the receipts, and we're furious because they didn't just lie, they tried to steal our country right out from under us. They tried to erase our voice, our vote, and our future. But guess what? We're wide awake and we're fired up. This is our country and we're taking it back. Let's go.
At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified oversight majority staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration. We're here today because the American people deserve the truth, they deserve accountability, and they deserve justice.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Ed, go ahead.
Director Gabbard, thank you. So just to, two questions, but to begin on that. The president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple assessments that were created by the intelligence community, the expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people, our republic, and an attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Yana.
Hello.
We have Nicole Bennett and Shelly E.
Hi.
All right. So before we light this fire, and we got a fire to light, do your part. Tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We're live on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. Lots to get to tonight. I mean, I already see you guys going off in the chat about how CNN didn't post the whole press conference with Tulsi Gabbard, which is true. We're getting into that. We're getting into the Jacksonville traffic stop that went viral and illegal immigration, so much more. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, we're starting out with this news regarding President or former President Barack Obama. All right. So I want to say this before we even get into this. If you're fired up like we are, drop a super chat and let your voice be heard. We want to know what you guys are thinking about this. We want to shout you out and let us know, Patriots. Is this firing you up? Are you all fired up as much as I am? Drop your super chat and let us know. Your support keeps this truth train rolling. We're uncensored and unapologetic. And as we can see, the deep states, the left, and even some on the right don't want to get the truth out. So please shout out your super chat and let us know what you're thinking. So I want to start off with you, Shelley, with this news conference, with the leaks that have, with the information that Tulsi Gabbard and the Trump administration have been pushing out for the last several days. What are your first thoughts?
Open the books. I'm glad that they're open. Number one, let me say this about Tulsi Gabbard. I love her. I think she's very strong. She looks like a lioness with that mane in her hair, and it makes her look strong, tough, competent, serious, and focused. I love that about her. That's number one. Number two, open all the books. Now, the other night when I said, a lot of this we already knew, but I'm glad that she came back and made it even clearer over the last couple of days what the distinctions are, or what this main distinction that former President Obama basically, bottom line, this is my never be humble opinion interpretation, basically wanted to overthrow our government, take away the voting American public's right to vote the person that they wanted to be president. He said, damn all of that. Remember the famous 13 words, we are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. And that is exactly what he was doing. He was undermining, pulling up the carpet, whatever. We got to match the strike. Yes, we are striking it tonight. This is the match. It is lit, and we are going to blow it out.
All right, Nicole. I mean, the report claims that President Obama knowingly fabricated intelligence. Do you believe this? And do you think he should be prosecuted? Oh, you're muted, Nicole. Is she?
Dang.
There
Finally
you go.
unmuted so I can speak. Yes, I think he did do it. All of the evidence is pointing that way. Tulsi Gabbard is a very sober woman. She's not one to make frivolous claims. She's not into embellishment or hyperbole. That's just not who she is as a human being. So when she says there's definitive evidence, I have trust in her word that there is definitive evidence. With that said, I think a lot of the reason why he would risk his legacy, why he would risk everything, including being labeled, a traitor to the one nation that he swears he loves and supports, was mostly because, he's America's first Black president. So who's going to check me? So I can do what I want to do. I can create what I want to create, because find me a jury with one Black person that's not Nicole Bennett, maybe Shelley, maybe KJ, but any other Black person is letting him walk on the strength of him being a Black president. This is what this for him boiled down to. He had everything to gain and nothing to lose. everything to gain and nothing to lose. Because there's still people, like you said, KJ, on the right who don't believe it.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know what other evidence has to come out before we say this is not about Democrat or Republican. This is about protecting our republic. This is what this is about. And people really need to get serious. Drop the partisan stuff. When things get this grave, when you have people willing to not only, kind of shade the truth or you hype up a certain thing, but to actually create a document that purports to be national intelligence, heads will have to roll for this one.
Yeah. Yana, I want to get your thoughts on this before I do. We already got a fired up super chatter here. JCL says, I'm fired up. I hate how the media claims Obama had a scandal-free presidency when the media just didn't report it. You are right. You are absolutely right. Yes. Thank you so much, JC, for your $5 super chat. All right. We have RC with the $5 super chat. Says, this is why we have to come out strong for the midterms, because they will turn the tables on the Republicans. Absolutely right. Not only, folks, the media helped cover this up. And the reason why President Trump is pushing this out now, he needs us. Mm-hmm. We have to make a loud enough noise about this to say it can't go away. It won't go away. Because if we don't, the media will continue to brush this under the rug. They will try to keep it, will not report it. And then they will not be able to. It's us who will cause this to come out and to push this to maybe prosecutions, maybe, subpoenas and things like that. We got to make a loud enough noise. Yana, let's get you in on this, because this lie fueled years of probes, raised tensions with Russia, and even led to arrests tied to the investigations. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts about this. I mean, first of all, like the other ladies here were saying, Obama is definitely guilty. He's so anti-American. He has always been anti-American, like anti-true what America stands for. Like Shelley said, he wanted to transform this country into something else. And he was afraid that Trump is a stop to that transformation. They were scared of Trump, and they were scared of the MAGA movement. And they needed to come up with anything to undermine our movement and our movement for America first in the world. So they came up with this idea, which was preposterous. When I heard it first time, I didn't believe it, not because I am from Russia, because if you know anything about the world and global policy and how different nations operate, what their priorities are, you're not going to believe that America is going to push Russia is going to push America first president. Just logically think about it. Average Russians would support Trump, but as policy, as the government, Trump was too unpredictable for Russia, for anyone in the world. They didn't know what to expect of him, and his statements were very unpredictable. So, and I mean, I have so many thoughts about it. Yeah. We also know that I've read recently that Russia knew a lot about Hillary and her health issues during the campaign. And they actually, the Russian intelligence suppressed that information because they actually wanted Hillary to win.
Yeah. Well, that was the first intelligence report. So I want to go through this timeline because I think it's important, and it shows just how the length that Obama and his crooked administration went to push this lie. So months before November 2016, the 2016 pre-election, intelligence agencies repeatedly assessed that Russia was probably not trying to influence the election by using cyber means. There was no sign Russia could or wanted to hack vote counts or change results. So this is very important because it's not saying that they didn't try, because every election, our opposition, our adversaries, they try to do things in every election. But what they tried to do, or it was nothing abnormal than what they generally try to do. Okay. That was put out in November 2016. November 8th, 2016, Trump wins. He won against Hillary. Then December 7th, 2016, DNI, that's
National Intelligence.
Yes, National Intelligence. James Clapper, he was the person at the time. He was in the position that Tulsi Gabbard is in now. James Clapper's talking points state foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. This again matched all prior intel. Okay. This came out December 7th, 2016. And so this was a declassified talking point document. Then December 9th, and we showed this press conference. No, I think I showed this on Christian Conservative. Obama held a White House meeting with his top security team. This is Clapper, Brennan, Rice, Kerry, Lynch, McCabe, and others to discuss Russia. Right after, Clapper's assistant emailed the IC leaders to create a new assessment per the president's request on how Russia tried to influence the election. Right. The FBI also delays a PDB because of a dissent on its content. So this is where it changed. This is where they lied.
On December the 9th.
December the 9th, 2016.
Yep. The thing is that that's
evening, they leaked to the Washington Post and other news outlets. They leaked the lie, assessing that Russia intervened to help President, at this time Trump, win, contradicting earlier intel. This is what they did.
Exactly. And remember, Matt Taibbi said that was the key right there when the news media, the Washington Post, New York Times, and other outlets, they were given, I think that I'm paraphrasing what Matt Taibbi said, they were given the conclusion before they even put out the new information, the quote unquote new assessment. That was the key. But remember, all of this was still based on that old document called the Steele dossier that we know Hillary Clinton and the DNC and all of those people paid for. And remember, who is the leader of the DNC at that time? It would have been Obama, since he was the president. Okay, of the party. This is nothing short of treason. And I think it's RC's point about the midterms. I had some of that in my notes here. We have to keep on this. The our Congress and the DOJ, and particularly our Congress, we have so much to do before the midterms because we are in control right now. We have so much that needs to be codified, that needs to be a hearing, subpoenas, revealed, whatever. We have to get it out. If we don't, it will forever, or it will be squashed for a long time to come. And we know time moves very slowly, if you will, in DC, particularly in that damn swamp. We are sick of it. Okay, Obama, according to these reports so far, and unless something else comes out that totally, exonerates him, he does need to stand trial. And yes, presidents can be brought up on perjury charges. Okay, remember, Bill Clinton was, but he just wasn't. He wasn't incarcerated for it. But they can be. We need the truth to come out, and we need it like yesterday.
Yeah, we have a super chatter here. Before I get you in on this, Nicole, we do have a super chatter. JT Thompson with the $20 super chat. All right. He says, so while I think plenty of people need to be held to account, I'm hesitant to say they should be charged with treason based on the constitutional definition of what treason is. A wrong charge gets them off. Ooh, okay. Thank you so much, JT. That's a interesting point. Now, I know you believe it is treason. Nicole, can you respond to him? Do you believe that the Constitution, based on the Constitution, this is treason?
I think he may be right. I think we may absolutely need to take a hard look at what we can get him for versus what we would like to get him for. You know, and there are other people in the chat saying, like Clive is saying, you know, we could definitely go after them, go hard. Absolutely, we could. But one of the people, I think, one of the biggest players in this whole cabal is the media, where you said the information was leaked to the media. It wasn't leaked to them. They were handed it over, talking point after talking point. You take a look at what happened on every single talking head political show, every single one after that December date. And what you will see is they all hit the same talking points time and time and time until it started to trend. Once it trended, we had all of the big IT, Google, X, everybody getting in on that whole thing. This wasn't just a small group of bad actors. It was a small group of bad actors who motivated, energized, and fed false information to the press, told them it was false, and they ran with it anyway. Everybody who had any part to do in this needs to answer and be held accountable in the court of the American public opinion. Now, with that said, KJ had it right when the show first started. We're not going to hear any of this tough talk on legacy media, on mainstream networks. We're not going to hear that. That's why it's so important to keep shows like this one, shows like all the shows that come on Metro Conservative Media, important to have us, because they're not going to push to get to the bottom. We're going to push. We want to know. And it's not salacious. This is not gossip. This is about protecting the republic. You know, when we think about our founders and everything they sacrificed, life, limb, family, so that we would have this moment in history to say, listen, Democrat or Republican, you can't have my nation. That's where we should stand up on this Obamagate foolishness. Everybody, Democrat or Republican, independent, should be very, very, very interested in what comes out of that DNI in the next couple of weeks.
So let's talk about treason as it is put out in the Constitution. So Article 3, Section 3 says treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. So while the founders made treason narrowly defined, weaponizing federal agencies to overthrow a duly elected president, in my opinion, can be seen as a non-violent coup, a war on the republic from within. I mean, it's undermining a lawful election. Just like I felt personally that the failure of President Biden to secure our southern border, to allow people to come in here illegally when we had all these illegals entering the southern border, that was treasonous in my opinion, because he failed to secure our sovereignty. Yeah. And the same thing here. This is an attack on the very core of our democratic republic and the Constitution itself. Yeah. It's abuse of power.
No, you're right. Now, let me tell you, JT or Josh, I'm sorry who said that point. That he makes a good point. He makes a good constitutional legal point. And so I can give him that. I can say fair enough with that. Treason as defined by the Constitution, that has to do with war, levying war, giving aid and comfort to enemies. I totally agree with that. And I don't want to misuse or misapply the Constitution in that sense. However, I'm going to make an effort to keep saying treasonous. It's on the line with treason. It kind of hovers around, around the edges, if you will. So I'll say that. But fair enough. If I do feel like it's treason, but of course we can't prosecute based on what Shelley feels. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. What about what he did? He worked with the intelligence agencies, CIA, FBI, the DOJ, and he created and pushed knowingly false narratives. You mentioned it with the Steele dossier in order to overthrow a sitting president. Because at that time, President Trump was, the president. He did it. It was an attempt to destroy our separation of powers and effectively carry out an internal coup. To me,
Exactly, but that's not
attack.
giving
With
aid. That's not
heavy
giving
war.
aid and comfort. That's not giving aid and comfort to the enemy. I'm just talking about constitutionally the way it's written. That could be argued in court, and a good lawyer, a good attorney, which we know what 95% of Washington D.C. are attorneys. They could get off of that. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. But
Absolutely.
Josh or JT, they make a good point. I mean, I just have to be true to the Constitution.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and speaking of what we were talking about, how we have to continue to sound the alarm and get the truth out because the mainstream media will not do it. Take a look at this next clip. So again, Tulsi Gabbard did a press conference today talking about what occurred with this, and she was laying out the details of what happened, with this, what I call a coup or attempted coup from the Obama administration. And when she just started to lay out the facts, they cut her off. CNN cut her off. Let me see here. This is clip, I believe this is clip 11.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation that President Obama is guilty of treason and that he worked in some sort of conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, etc., in the assessment by the intelligence community at the time that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
Wow. Can you believe that, Yana? What are your thoughts on that? They cut her off, one, when she was about to go into detail of exactly how they came up with this. And then you heard what he said, extreme definition of this. What are your thoughts there?
Allegations, extreme allegations and attempt. He used the word attempt to implicate President Obama in treason. So but just to answer the comment that we had from JT, it's a good point that we have to be careful about the type of charge. But we can argue that this was an attack on the American public, on the people who voted for President Trump. That basically we were told that the vote didn't happen, that somebody else, a foreign agency put President Trump in place. That's basically what we were being told for pretty much the entire President Trump first term. And that's horrible for the union of this country. It's anti-American, it's anti this country. So it breaks the union. And that could be seen as treasonous, the same as when the South wanted to secede because they had their own ideas. So it's not conducive to the United States.
Yeah, it's a constitutional betrayal at the highest level.
Absolutely.
Obama swore to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. And if he directed a multi-agency operation to lie, spy, because he spied on President Trump's campaign too, and manipulate the peaceful transfer of power, which he accused President Trump of doing, that's not just abuse. It's a betrayal of the Constitution.
Absolutely.
So we'll continue. We have a clip. I want to show you guys. We have a couple images here from that Tulsi Gabbard put out. I want to put up image 2 if we have it. She laid this thing out well. So again, she's showing you the lie. Putin and Russian government helped Trump win the 2016 election. Truth. President Obama, former director of the CIA, John Brennan, and others fabricated the Russia hoax, suppressed intelligence showing Putin was preparing for a Clinton victory, and manufactured findings from shoddy sources, disobeyed IC standards, and knowingly lied to the American people. I mean, folks, can we put up image 3? This broadcast that we have tonight, you all need to share this to your commie friends and family, because I have them too, because I got people on my Facebook timeline and all this type of stuff, saying these are lies. It's right here. This is image 3. The lie was fabricated Steele dossier. The truth, not only did CIA Director Brennan, FBI Director Comey, and DNI Clapper and others include the Steele dossier in the 2017 ICA, they overruled senior intel officials who warned them it was fabricated. Okay, it's right here. You guys can screenshot this stuff. Image 4, we have another one here. Lie. The Obama administration's January ICA was an independent intelligence community product produced with apolitical analysis. That is a lie. The truth is Obama ordered the intelligence community to create an ICA they knew was false and contrived. It was a contrived narrative with the intent to undermine the legitimacy and power of President Trump's presidency. It's right here, folks. You can screenshot those, share them, or particularly share this broadcast, because we're breaking it down. We're going to also post the timeline that I mentioned here with key time. I mean, the timeline is key. It shows you step by step how they did this. Absolutely. We have to be detailed with this, because the left, we're going up against the left and mainstream media. They control the media. They control the culture. They're going to try to push out lies, more lies. And we have to meet them with the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah. But listen, cue the J6 things, because God, they're going to bring that back up and try to beat us over the head with it. They're going to do everything they can to dissuade people from looking into this matter. This has got to be answered for.
Absolutely.
It has got to be answered for.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Whoopi Goldberg. Of course, she's defending Obama, her messiah. This is him. This is her, clip 9.
A sitting president just accused a former president of treason. Now, do people realize how serious an allegation this is? And for me, didn't the Supreme Court, under the guidance of this president, say that presidents have immunity? So that would mean that nothing Obama did, because you didn't say no, that only you have immunity. You said presidents. So this means you have no right to try to take him to court because he did what he did as president. So how does that work? Is it only you who is clear, or are they all clear? In which case, President Biden might be, kicking some new stuff up to you too. Because if you say nobody has immunity, or everybody, you have to decide which way you're going.
Wow. This old nappy-headed hag was just out was it last year, when this was coming up through the Supreme Court, and she was she was upset about it. She was saying, he shouldn't have immunity, talking about President Trump and all this type of stuff when they came after him with all the lawfare. Now she's championing immunity. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
Well, unfortunately, she has a point, because this is what is going to come out if this goes to the highest levels of our country. And of course, I don't agree with her. Notice she didn't say that Obama didn't do
it. Exactly.
Notice she didn't say that. She played the immunity card. So again, but let me tell you what is even deeper than what she's speaking to. What she ultimately is speaking to is the mistrust that the American people have in our government at large, writ large. The distrust, I should say, is at an all-time low, if not even lower than that right now. It doesn't matter who's in office, because what it plays out as perception, at least, is that the party who is in charge, their people or their side agrees with them no matter what. So this is why we need all of this out. It does not matter if it's a Democrat or Republican. Our government's trust is at an all-time low. The American people cannot trust its government at every level, and particularly the federal level. It needs to come out. And remember, someone put it in the chat. I had this in my notes too. Remember, there were other people not just President Trump, who were scarred and marred and tarnished for life. General Flynn, Carter Page, Roger Stone, damn near had a heart attack in the middle of the night. Trump's in Melania's damn wardrobe, in Mar-a-Lago. These people's lives were turned upside down based on a phony, fake, lie proof, or a full of lies document called a Steele dossier. We cannot allow our government to do this. And if we believe, conservatives, libertarians, whomever, Democrats certainly, if we believe that no one is above the law, then that goes for the highest people, the highest levels of our government. I don't care who it is. They need to be brought to account. If that's what we really believe, it doesn't matter if it's President Obama or Susie Joe Smith, that we are all under the same Constitution, then they all need to stand and give a report.
Yeah. And remember when the Supreme Court handed this down, and I actually remember, I think we covered the View talking about it. And I think they had someone on there. It was some type of attorney or legal person telling them that, yes, it was this immunity case that the Supreme Court handed down was a good thing for President Trump. However, it wasn't full immunity. That case did not say that the president has full, complete immunity. It said the Constitution is clear. There's no one above the law. And it said, especially not when the accusations involve treason, sedition, abuse of federal power, and election interference. So it was not a blanket, go past go, collect your $100. There are some places where you can be charged as a sitting president. Nicole, what are your thoughts on that? I know you're saying we maybe not have much of a case for this Constitution.
Well, I'm not saying we don't have much of a case. I'm saying we should charge something that we can prove, right? Because again, we're not just going up against truth and facts. So we have truth, facts, and the receipts, but they have America's first Black president. They have the legacy media. They have the culture, or at least part of the culture. And we're looking at not just this thing with Obama, but quietly behind the scenes, there are calls from the U.S. Senate for Fauci to be charged.
Right.
Let's see what that auto pin pardon's going to do. So on many, many levels.
Can you talk about that? What are you talking about? Because I know you had mentioned that earlier about the auto pin. So now there's, go ahead.
So, what's interesting, Dr. Rand Paul.
Rand Paul, right.
Wrote this book, Deception, this whole thing with Fauci. He says Fauci should be brought up on charges. And I agree. 1, for lying. 2, for all of the harm that he caused, because, physicians do no harm. So he wants him brought up on charges. People say, well, wait, he has a pardon. But does he? Does he really have a pardon? Did Joe Biden know that he even pardoned this man? Or was this one of those auto pen situations? And if it is auto pen, charge him and let's go to court. Let's go to court and have a judge say, you know what? Auto pen or no auto pen, it's a pardon. We will take that all the way up to the Supremes and let the Supreme Court make the decision on whether or not an artificially signed pardon is valid in this nation. I think the Supreme Court is going to say it is not. It is not valid. And then that opens up the door to charge a whole lot of other people for their crimes against the American people. All of these things are happening simultaneously. People are pushing really hard to get some transparency and some truth, not our lick back, because there's no way for us to go back to 2020 and regain everything we've lost, regain everything that all of our children lost. But he has to be held accountable for what he's done.
Yeah,
charge him, but this country needs to charge him, and we need to hold him to account.
Yeah, folks, it really upsets me how these people got away with this. And it's not even just about the lies and deception that we saw that they did, but all of the people who suffered, as you mentioned, the lockdowns that they put us through, where you had high unalive rates in young people, the myocarditis, the kids who couldn't graduate on time, or if they did, they had a horrible senior year or college year because of this stuff. all of this stuff that they put us through, businesses that closed that never were able to reopen because of the subjective and arbitrary closures of the businesses and things like that. This changed lives. And we know, and to know that this was all perpetrated over a lie. It really upsets me. And I don't, even if we don't get them for the Constitution, the treason,
Right.
I want to see it laid out in court.
Absolutely.
I want to see them dragged through it. I want to see I want to see them have to respond to all of this. And even if it comes out and says, they're not guilty, at least we have it put through on the record. Right.
Absolutely. We have to do something. You remember all of that theater and drama they did with those J6 hearings and all of the backdrops from the 24-hour news cycle, and it was produced by Hollywood. No, I don't want to see that. What I want to see, I want it to look like church. You know what I mean? I want him to sit there with something that looks like the house of God and flap them gums and lie to the American people again. This has got to stop. And again, it's not about Democrat or Republican. This is about doing the right thing for this nation.
Right. And Yana, so you talk about Marxism. This is, I believe, this is the biggest slap and thing. This is the biggest thing against our country when you talk about Marxism, because what he did was he just tore apart our belief in our trust in our institutions. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, exactly. When this was happening during the first Trump administration, and also during Biden's administration, when all these pardons happened and the COVID delusion and hysteria under Fauci was happening, really an attack on this country and the world, it really felt very, I would say, it's hard to think of words, because it really brought me back to the time when I lived back in, the Soviet Union, then post-Soviet Union, when we had total chaos and there was complete distrust of the institutions that we had, the political institutions. It was just nobody trusted anything that was coming out of politicians' mouths, or nobody trusted authorities in any way. And that is how I felt during Biden's administration, and what was happening before, with the fact that there was not enough consequences on the people who wanted to really destroy this country. And it needs to stop. We have to bring them to some sort of justice, because otherwise, how can we believe that this is the freest and the most just country in the world?
Exactly. And we're going to continue to sound the alarm on this, folks, because if they see and hear a public outcry, they can't ignore it. Right now, they want to sweep this under the rug. They want this to go away. And so this is why, as we showed you, CNN's not trying to cover it. They don't want the details of what former President Obama did to get out. And so, I saw someone in the comment that says whining won't help. Well, no, I'm not whining. And number two, we need to get the truth out. We need to continue to talk about this. They want us to be silent, and we can't be silent. And, again, you have the mainstream media. They're ignoring this. They're trying to, talk about something else. And we need to get the word out. And this is what we're going to do. So please, folks, as you all come in, hit that like button. We need that. It helps to get this video out into a wider audience, and subscribe. Folks, we are on our way to 200,000 subscribers. We need your help. We want to hit that goal by Labor Day. So as you come in, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? All right, we're moving right along. I want to go back to The View. Talk about the left. They are fuming about Stephen Colbert being fired from The Late Show. And here we have Joy Behar falsely claiming he lost his job because President Trump, got him to lose it. This is clip 6. Take a look.
You know, it's always been the role of the court jester to make fun of the king. Yeah. That is the role of comedians. I have said on this show, I think I said it years ago, when they start coming for the comedians, all bets are off. Because the king he's supposed to take the hits. And this guy has the skin thinner than this card. You know, he was insulted by Obama at the correspondents' dinner that time, and he's such a vengeful guy that he went after Obama after that. He cannot take a joke. And that's what these guys are doing. And I love that they're all sticking together. I remember when Gilbert Gottfried got into trouble for making a joke. He got canned from Affleck. Yeah. The comedians all had his back. Right. And we will stand by the comedians. Come on. Yeah. And by the way, look at that. That's so cute. Yeah. And by the way, why is it, I think Jon Stewart said something like this, why is it that this guy can call any name he wants of anybody? Yeah. Little Marco, this one's stupid, that one's an idiot. We're not allowed to say anything like that on this show in particular. And I accept that, and I respect that. I'm not going to start calling him the Orange Menace, even if that's what he is. But I'm just saying, he can do it, but we can't. Well, that's not going to work.
All right, a bunch of soy boy comedians, and she's sitting up there with her old rotten carrot top head. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this? About what she's talking about? A bunch of the comedians came out to so-called support Colbert, Stephen Colbert, because he's getting fired, and so they're trying to show their support. And it's not even all of those people that were sitting up there aren't even funny.
No, they're not really all that funny, and neither is Joy. I mean, Joy's just funny just because she's Joy. Okay,
she's funny looking.
But what it is, basically, it's people that make, I don't know, a couple of $1 million. These elite comedians, they are so full of themselves and they think they're funny, but then they go and and rah for their other $40 million boy. They're not losing anything. The only thing Colbert is losing is an audience, if you will, a studio audience that really can't leave, if you will, because they're kind of there for the time being to do the claps, and you get the monitor that says clap and stand and all that stuff. I mean, he's not funny. I thought his monologue was funny the other night. That's probably one of many that I've seen, and I don't even watch him that much. Nevertheless, they're all just patting themselves on the back. These elitists with their fake tears, whatever. I don't care, whatever. Colbert is not losing anything, okay? Believe you me, he's not losing anything. He might be embarrassed a little bit because his show is going to go off the air, but it might go off a little bit sooner than next year? Because it might go off a little bit sooner. Maybe give the airwaves a break. Nobody cares about them. This is just all elite. Elite again, pats on the back. Elite supporting elites. They don't mean anything to the public at large.
Yeah, Nicole, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, again, they're trying to push this idea that President Trump got him fired when the show wasn't doing well. What were your thoughts?
Well, not only was the show not doing well, their station is not doing well. So they have to self-correct. And he was warned, like all of them have been warned. Joy even says it in her little spiel that she just did. We were all warned. We have to stop doing this. And if you don't, you will get fired. Just like at my job, I can't go in and slap the hell out of one of the doctors and expect to be gainfully employed, sometime next year. Are you serious? Everybody has to dance for their boss to some degree, even if you fancy yourself an elitist with mediocre jokes. She talks about Trump not taking a joke. Trump was dishing out jokes. He's been roasted repeatedly. He was at that Catholic Charities dinner. He's done more opportunities for people to riff and rip on him than any other president in this nation's history. Yep. He, however, is a New Yorker. If you come for him, you better come correct. Joy's not ready for that smoke. I tell her right now, she want to start calling names. She just as orange as he is. He's got better hair than she do every day of the week. Every day. He can buy and sell her broke ass many times over. So she should watch her language when it comes to Donald Trump. She really should.
Oh, yeah. Yana, what are your thoughts there?
Well, she's just pushing this idea that the Democrats have been pushing, that under Trump we'll live under dictatorship, that Trump can just call as a network and get somebody fired. Like, stop it. No, we don't live in North Korea. It doesn't happen. The supreme leader does not call a station, a television station, and says this guy needs to be fired. No, it doesn't happen like that. Stop it with this propaganda. And The View is just a propaganda of the left, and they're just going to push this ridiculous, crazy ideas. He was not funny.
Right.
And any kind of leftist comedian, if he is just purely left, he is not funny. Comedy is supposed to be edgy and unpredictable.
Right. You're absolutely right. And here's a prime example. South Park. They just landed a $1.5 billion with a B dollar streaming deal with Paramount, which I believe is part of CBS. Mm-hmm. And guess what? South Park, they are funny. It's not my cup of tea generally, but they don't cut cards. They talk about any and everybody across political aisles, across genders. Everyone gets it on South Park, and they're rewarded with it by this huge deal that they just landed. But not everybody is crying for Stephen Colbert. Here's a clip from CBS Mornings. Tony Dokoupil, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, but he basically said, "I don't give a damn about Stephen Colbert." This is clip 8.
That's why people are reacting the way that they are.
No, I understand the emotional feelings, but I don't have an MBA, but he's not right that the merger, the $8 billion is based on reruns of a comedy show. No, people are buying the movies and the sitcoms and the sports. They're not based on reruns of us either. So I think he's wrong about that.
He's saying that it contributed to it.
He's saying it's all encompassing,
the
total package of it. That already happened in the past. And he also acknowledged that these late night shows are what he called like a blockbuster kiosk inside a tower record. So the business is broken. And what no one seems to acknowledge is that the politics also changed. The business changed and so did the politics. And it got way more one-sided than anything Johnny Carson was ever doing. I think we should reflect on those changes as well. It's been a big shift culturally in that regard also.
I hear you, but I think many people feel there's another way to do it. You know, it's a very difficult position to be in, but to disagree with something that company's doing, but also still loving your job and loving what you do. I really feel for Stephen Colbert. I think
feel for the whole staff of both those shows and whatever comes next for everybody.
I do too.
I think people will miss those shows when they're gone.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
No doubt. And I don't believe that he's going anywhere when it comes to this industry. He's going to land somewhere for sure.
All right, let's talk about
But if you haven't seen Jon Stewart's monologue, it's worth
it is indeed.
Shelley, what are your thoughts on that?
Ain't nobody gonna miss them. If they are so in love and so saddened that Colbert, why don't they all hire him to entertain them? I mean, hell, have your own. I mean, sir, have your own little elite party, your little exclusive party, and talk about Gayle. How about another fake, if you will, another fake journalist? Yeah, she was a journalist maybe a long time ago with her friend Oprah. You're only there because of Oprah, okay?
Right.
Licking her boots, Oprah. So go ahead, Gayle, somewhere else. And let me go back real quick to Joy. She's talking about President Trump not being able to take a joke. Well, guess what, Joy? He doesn't have to take a goddamn joke. I'm sorry. He took some bullets. How about that? That's more important. So therefore, whether he takes a joke or not is irrelevant. He took the bullets, and thankfully, thank the Lord, he's still standing. Go sit on that, Joy.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Nicole, what are your thoughts on that exchange on CBS?
You know, I think the gentleman who was talking hit the nail on the head. There is no taste for this anymore. Most people, and when they get home, the last thing they want to hear is something one-sided when you're about to go to bed. You know what I mean? Most people are watching YouTube or one of their favorite shows, catching up on their power watching of something. We have gotten so far away from the mainstream media being the center of American culture, and they just refuse to accept it. They just flatly don't want to accept that America has moved on. And he's saying that in the nicest words I've probably ever heard someone tell people: get the hell over yourself. It's not you anymore. You used to be the queen bee, but we've moved on. We have moved on. Late night hasn't been funny since David Letterman.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. It went straight downhill after Dave, straight downhill. Now, are there like hee moments every now and again? Absolutely. But this foolishness like Giannis said, to think that Donald Trump can pick up a phone and have someone snatched off TV, it wouldn't have been damn Colbert. He would have went Margaret Brennan. He would have went somebody who was at least, quote unquote, a serious journalist. What does he want with a Canadian comedian? The hell? This man has made his money. He's made his mark. He'll get a YouTube station, you know, and do a little riffing on Trump every now and again. So what? No one cares. No one cares.
Right. The funniest thing I think he's ever done is to see him cry and whine about Trump. That's the only thing I think is funny. We have some super chats here. All right. Lily Ignacio says 4 years is not enough to drain the swamp. It is very deep and wide. Beautiful ladies, keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Lily. All right. Alpha Buckeye says Obama staff should also be charged for this coup. Yeah, cool. Yes. Yep, I agree. Yana, what are your thoughts on that exchange on CBS and Colbert?
I think they're just happy that they have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I think it was just them saying, well, it's not us, so that's good. And I think TV in general is not doing well, so I think they might be worried about themselves.
Yep, absolutely, folks. And that's why we're here. And so we appreciate your support. Continue watching us. We have several ways you can ask questions here. The super chats go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. So, you know, put out those super chats ranging from bold and fiery to witty or faith-based, depending on your tone. Drop those super chats and subscribe. Absolutely. All right. So moving right along, we got a lot to cover tonight. Next we're talking about illegal immigration. So again, while the media cries about compassion, ICE is out here doing their job. Our leaders refuse to do, protecting Americans. And so right here in Maryland, Takoma Park, Maryland, federal agents arrested an Ethiopian criminal alien. And right in the middle of them arresting him, some leftists started heckling ICE. But there's more to this. Take a look. This is clip 5.
What's your name? You can throw him. And what? Yours? Okay. Put him in.
Understand we're with immigration, okay? We have a warrant for your arrest, all right?
Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and take you somewhere else. We're gonna put you in a little bit more comfortable situation with the handcuffs, but I'll explain more during the ride, okay?
Want your boom lickers, huh? You sucking some fascist pieces of You too. 7, 8, 8, you're all ice pieces of What the? Man, you guys are an embarrassment to this country. Disgusting. I didn't fight for your right to steal brown people up the street. You guys should be embarrassed. Wear a mask like a bunch of
Wow. So while he's sitting there heckling the ICE officers for doing their jobs, guess who that guy, that brown guy that was being arrested did? He is an illegal immigrant from Ethiopia. He was, according to ICE, charged against charges range from first and second degree RAPE, assault, and indecent exposure. Officials said that he was convicted and sentenced to 20 years. So you see that this is what the left does. This is what they do. You have Democrats, not just this dumb guy walking down the street, but you have actual Democrat leaders heckling ICE, trying to what do you call it? when they leak their names and their information and all kinds of stuff, and they're actually taking evil people off of the street. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
Again, the left does not give a damn about keeping Americans and the public safe. They only care about their agenda and their ideology. And in their ideology, right up close to all of the isms, is their number two, I guess I would put, is police, ICE, all of these law enforcement agents are bad guys. They are the bad guys. And the real bad guys should just run free and run havoc and murder, kill, maim, harm, steal, everything else with the American public. And we should really pay them for it, because they need to have all of these free things from us anyway. The left is dangerous, okay? By and large, the left, they are a dangerous lot. They don't care about law and order. They don't care about women's rights, if you will, what they claim to. They don't care about that. They don't care about safety. That little pissy, I don't even know what to call. I call him a guy. That little pissy guy walking up and down the street. His face is blocked out. He can't have his face shown. Whoever gave him that courtesy, but he wants to dox the ICE agents while they are taking the scum of the world off the streets of the American public to keep us safe. Damn him. Damn his little pissy, damn, I don't know, small waist, freakish looking self. I don't even know. They make you sick. They make you angry, because this is our country. This is a relatively good country by and large. Yes, we have some things we need to weed out like the swamp, but this is a good country. That Ethiopian came here. We didn't go to Ethiopia. He left there for a reason.
I know.
What's so interesting is this particular city, Takoma Park, I have an office there. And so Takoma Park is two very different places. Where Taddasse was arrested was on what we like to call the white side of Takoma Park. Then there is a park that separates the two sides. The other side is the barrio side, right? Where you will find people walking around, selling breakfast and corn drinks and clothes, and there's a preacher on the street proselytizing, there's some hoes walking around. I mean, it's night and absolute day. These type of people will stand in their very protected, very wealthy front yards and scream, well, damn it, he should be free, while this guy is raping the hell out of the people who live on the barrio side. So it makes me angry, because their politics are not only wrong, but what they're doing to the culture of people who need the most protection is wrong, right? You want to defund the police? Well, you don't really need the police. It's the people who live on the other side of the park who really, really need the police. It got so bad, they started to police themselves. There was a guy who they alleged were raping little kids when they got off the school bus. Did you hear anything about that? Did it make the news media? Was there a big case? No, they chopped his ass up with a machete and left him over behind the bakery. They self-police. Now, 100% wrong, this vigilante justice. But if you live in a community where all they want to do is give you just enough to stay in the barrio, not help you get out, but stay your ass in the barrio, you too would have to police yourself. This is what makes me so angry when you talk about, he really wasn't that nasty of a guy. He's a rapist. Oh, I'm sorry. He's a rapist.
No, you're right.
Right? He's out here doing things to people that are unconscionable and then convicted of it. And this guy's pissed as he walks around his mini mansion. He's pissed. Miss me. I don't have time for him.
Yeah. Yana, did you hear what he said? He was like a heckler talking about, you gotta arrest a brown guy. Now we're talking about racial terms.
I am so infuriated by this whole story and the weasel that was walking around. The weasel needs to be thrown in the hole for a day just to scare him a little bit, so he would never do ridiculous. Like, my Russian really comes out when I see somebody like that. I'm like, either the police needs to do something to him, or a bunch of women, like strong women, have to come up to him and like just treat him like a little puppy that needs a lesson, in decency. Because this man, the Ethiopian illegal immigrant, he sexually assaulted a woman at a metro station, at one of the DC metro stations.
This guy?
Yes.
Oh.
And she was so, I mean, she was assaulted, she was hurt, she had to be taken to a hospital.
Wow.
I mean, this was a real, assault. Like, this was horrible. And he got supposedly 20 years. But from what I found out is that 11 were suspended and 5 were probation.
Wow. So I thought that he had been charged in his home country.
No, he did it here.
This is what I'm saying.
In Maryland, but in one of the DC metro, like one of the metro stations.
We have in Tacoma, there's a gigantic metro stop, and they're actually building, I think it's the Purple Line. It's supposed to bring Baltimore to this part of Maryland. But it is a hub for the buses, for the trains. So there's a lot of intersectionality there. And you combine that with the influx of illegal aliens that come in and out of the country on the regular basis there. They're here 3 months, they're home 3 months, they come back whenever they want. It's very transitory. So when you have someone who may or may not be of a protected immigration status who's assaulted, 9 times out of 10, they don't report it because they don't want the police in their business.
Right.
But when you have someone who endures that kind of physical abuse and is willing to stand up and say, this man did this thing to me and I had to suffer all of this. You know how hard it is to get 20 years in Maryland? I mean, quite literally, it is almost impossible to be sentenced to 20 years here in this state. Now, like John is saying, now most of the time he's not going to have to do any of it, and he's probably at home on house arrest, eating bonbons and talking to his friends on the internet. But this, to get 20 years for what he did to her, is a big, big deal here.
Yeah, that means it was a horrific assault. And the fact that this man walking around heckling ICE, and why I said it has to be women that need to teach him a lesson, because these leftists, they talk about women's protection and how we need to, Me Too movement and all that. And here he is protecting a criminal who nearly killed
sexual assaulter. Yeah. The lowest of the low.
Yeah.
And this is not alone. So we're talking about just a random heckler, but here in this next clip, we have a Democrat representative, Representative Yvette D. Clarke out of New York, once again trying to get as many illegals here as she can. Take a look. This is clip 3.
Just in closing quickly, what role do you believe members of the Haitian American diaspora here can and should play in assisting the effort to stabilize and rebuild Haiti? I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
Wow. So I want to get your thoughts on this, Nicole. So she was speaking, I believe, to the ambassador to Haiti. He's talking about all this crap going over in Haiti, and she's saying, bring these people, these Haitians here, and and you can bring them to her district in New York because they're redistricting, and I guess she believes that these people will vote for her. What are your thoughts?
I think it's unconscionable politically and culturally. The temporary protected status of Haitians is going to expire, I think, by the end of the year, maybe February. That means all of the Haitians that came here using that CBP1 app that automatically got temporary protected status, TPS as we call it here in the United States, has to either earn another type of immigration status or self-deport. Most of them are running. I mean, we've got a very large population of them on the Eastern Shore. They were brought there. There's factory work. I think they thought that it would be okay. There's water, that kind of thing, similar to where they came from. The problem is they don't assimilate. They do not assimilate. So she wants these people to be moved to her district for two reasons. One, power. Number two, money. What she's saying is, if I have more people in this district, then when they do redistricting, I'll get more power. We'll get more money. And her assumption is that these Black people will vote for her, one, because she too is Black, and number two, because they should be grateful. We rolled out the carpet for them. We are going to be accepting of them. That is absolutely wrong. She's selling her constituents, especially in Brooklyn. She's selling her constituents right down the river and has no qualms about saying it. No qualms whatsoever.
Absolutely. And then you have the ambassador responds to her and said, yeah, and let them take up all your jobs. This is clip 4.
I bet in your district you don't have enough truck drivers, you don't have enough roofers, you don't have enough service people at the hotels. And so there is demand for people. Look, I'm not sticking up for breaking immigration law by any means, but that the Haitian diaspora will welcome the immigrants with open arms. And I would like to see them continue to involve themselves in the political process in Port-au-Prince, because I think they bring a lot to the table, given the fact that they have settled in societies that aren't run by impunity-driven politicians.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This
Shirley, and he came off like a real slime ball. I gotta take a bath after this.
Yeah, not only is she selling out for money and power, which are right at the top, she's also playing this race card, but trying to do it on the sublime, because the Haitians will be dark skinned or brown, as they call it, whatever they call it, Black and brown people. And then you're right, the money plays a part. Not only that, she's telling actual Americans that, hey, you don't matter in my damn district, okay? You know, you're not a part of the diaspora. I'm so sick of that damn word diaspora. I mean, I'm sick of that. That's another overused word. Let Haitians stay in Haiti. At least if they're going to be here legally, stay your ass in Haiti. We don't need you in New York or anywhere else. And this woman, an American a politician, is actually doing the bidding to bring foreigners here on American soil so they can be counted, and she gets the money to keep her in office, and the Americans pay for it and get nothing for it. If your district was such a great place and you were using whatever funds you had for the benefit of the people there, then maybe you wouldn't need all these Haitians from the diaspora, whatever. Up your aspera. How about that?
Yeah. Perfectly said. Yana, I mean, what did you think of that exchange there? And you heard what Shelley said. Is Shelley being too harsh by saying the Haitians who don't want to stay in their butthole countries, want to come here for a better life, should be kept out?
I mean, any immigrant needs to be vetted, regardless of where they're coming from, regardless of the country that they're coming from. So Haitians, I mean, I don't know. We have to see how, if they don't assimilate, then maybe we should vet them harder. Who was that guy, the ambassador?
Yeah,
I think he was. Sorry.
Former ambassador. You is a U.S. ambassador.
Is he a real person? Because why does he look like that?
I don't know. He looked really creepy.
Like, what is with his mouth? What is with his mouth? And he looked like you came out of hell.
I know. You know what it made me think of? It made me think of Annabelle. It made me think he looked like something off of Poltergeist.
Yes. Like, what was that? And
really, I thought he was going to start talking about Carol Ann. He looked really creepy.
But let me back to the immigration. I mean, that face, I'm sorry. Was a scary, that's like nightmare face. But immigration. So how about Republicans? Because we got to fight. We got to fight Democrats. Republicans make favorable conditions for Eastern European immigrants. You know, Russians, Hungarians, even go into like Romanians, maybe even Uzbeks, even Central, any post-Soviet Union people, make it favorable for them to come here and tell them the Democrats are for the gays and Republicans are for traditional values. And believe me, they will be voting for Republicans. So we have to fight them, the Democrats, with their means. Invite a bunch of Eastern Europeans. We'll solve this immigration collusion problem.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, we got to do something about this, folks, because again, you can clearly see these Democrats are really trying to replace us. They're trying, and when I say us, you dumb black people who keep voting Democrat, it's you. They're trying to replace you, and you continue to vote for them.
Don't give me hints, KJ. Don't give me any hints.
But I think it just doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense to me at all. But I have people up and down my timeline that are black that are really going in on President Trump and Tulsi Gabbard and the immigration stuff. They are losing their minds over ICE. And the whole time, most of the people that are being rounded up are criminals. They're criminals. And they continue to advocate for these people. So we'll continue to follow these stories and call them out. Folks, as you guys come in, hit that like button. It really helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and subscribe. We have a goal. We're trying to hit 200,000 subscribers by Labor Day. We need your help. So subscribe. If you're here, if you found a home here, if this is your community, if we're your people, hit that subscribe button and join us. We are God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. And we don't cut cards. We're going to tell it like it is. And as my mom used to say, put it where the goats can get it. All right. So now we're going to talk about something that may be a little controversial. But you know what? We don't shy away from controversy. We are talking about this viral video out of a traffic stop. William Anthony McNeil was pulled over in Jacksonville, Florida. And the video went viral. Initially, he posted the video from his own phone showing the police breaking his car window. Somehow either, I don't know if it was a punch or a push to the face, grabbing him out of the car and throwing him on the ground. And it really looked like they were in the wrong. Some people may still believe they're in the wrong, but the full video came out and it does show a different perspective. So this is the video. This is the full video, but this is the video from the beginning of the interaction that was not put out prior to the William Anthony McNeil putting it out. So he put out a partial video. This is the part that he left out. Clip 2.
Can you call your supervisor? Huh? Can you call your supervisor? All right, go for it. Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement?
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor.
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle. 25 seconds. For 9-4, the driver just slammed the door and locked it.
Call your supervisor.
I've already told you. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. I'm about to break the window.
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
What is your reason, sir? Step out. What is your reason? Step out now. Get on the track. No, don't freak out. Get on the track.
Put your hands behind your back! Hands behind your back!
You gonna throw my phone like that, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you, bro. Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is. So I didn't do nothing.
It's called resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing.
Yep. He's a dumbass idiot. And I said it. And and he should be on the ground like that. This is my personal opinion, but I want to get your thoughts on this, Yana, first. Firstly, do you believe the police used were excessive there?
Look, if I was in the police, I would be put probably on some kind of administrative leave within a week. Because I can't stand this. Like, this type of stupidity and lack of respect for authority. Again, my Russian comes out. I would be, I mean, that video made me so furious at this guy because he was pulled over. He was told why he was pulled over. And then he kept asking the same question over and over and not opening the door. What do you expect is going to happen? And I mean, it seems like he is fine. He was not beat up. I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, I think they actually restrained themselves because, I mean, he was infuriating.
Yeah. Yeah. Shelly, what are your thoughts here on now, folks? And I see you guys commenting. Mm-hmm. There is a longer video, and I think we've all watched the full body cam. The officer did put him under arrest. He said, "You're under arrest." He kept asking him to get out of the car. What are your thoughts on this? Was it excessive, Shelly?
Well, before I answer that, number one, I was going to answer that. Yes, he was technically under arrest. It was beyond detainment. Mm-hmm. The detainment would have come in the beginning when he pulled him over to see his license and registration, whatever. That would have been the detainment part for that time period. But yes, he was technically under arrest. Number one. Number two, that part right there, I like to say I'm so glad that I actually watched the long video first before I saw the dash cam video. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I watched it in that order. And I also watched the sheriff's press conference yesterday or whenever it was.
We have that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched that. So I'm glad I watched it in that order. I don't think that part was excessive. Okay, that guy was as wrong as two left shoes. A traffic stop, number one, is one of the most common stops for police. That's number one. Number two, they can also be some of the most dangerous stops. Okay, along with dangerous. Along with domestic violence incidents, or if you will, those are the most dangerous stops for a police officers to make. It did not, when he closed that door, when the officer said pull over, your lights, whatever, the lights were off, no seat, whatever the case may be, pull over and take out your KJ real quick. Just 2 weeks ago, I was actually driving into the studio, right? Looking all, dressed up, whatever. I actually think the police officer wanted to stop me because he just wanted to see who was in the car because I have tint on my windows, right? But he claims that I didn't fully stop at a stop sign, right? No big deal. What did I do? When I saw the lights go on, I pulled over. I reached for my ID. I knew he was going to come. He came, knocked on the window. Hi, how you doing? Do you know why you stopped? I really didn't know. I thought I stopped long enough, so to speak, right? I really didn't. I was like, no. He said, that stop sign. I said, I thought I stopped there. He said, no, you didn't stop. Fine, no problem. Gave him my ID. Guess what? He came back and he said, nice to meet you. Thank you. And gave me a warning. That's it. Yeah. 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But I knew that this guy was revving up. Again, there are some quote unquote excessive parts, if you will. But bottom line, he was wrong.
Yeah. I want to get you in on this, Nicole. Before I do, let's see what the Jacksonville police chief said. And I'd like for you to respond to this. This is clip 1.
This is my opportunity to share the information with the public. Right? And so now we still continue to refer to the social media video. Well, I just showed you body cam videos with much more information. Let's acknowledge that, because that's important. The importance is I'm showing you the video, the body cam video, from the entire incident from start until they had to turn it off, or we stopped it for time, for time's sake.
Do you know if McNeil ever filed a formal complaint?
He did not. He did not. He never filed a formal complaint, which we'd have been all over it, if had that been the case. But he did not. Go ahead, Eric.
So I just want to get back to the punch. This is just to be a yes or no question.
Wait, Eric, are you going to tell me how to answer a question?
I'm just keeping it simple.
All right, go ahead.
Was it appropriate for the officer to punch this guy in the jaw after he'd already broken the window? Was that yes or no? Was that appropriate?
It depends on the circumstances. But it's already determined it's not criminal. Now we're going to look for JSO policy violations. How about that? Is that good?
Well, if a civilian did that to another civilian, they would be in handcuffs.
No, not necessarily. It depends on the circumstances, the situation. I know that's how you want it to be. I know there's a tendency to want to be some massive cover-up that is not. That's why I'm here. I stand up, we talk to you about what happened, we give you what we can give you, then it's up to you guys to report it. But
do you think the public is going to buy that?
I don't know. My point is,
do you think the black community is going to buy
don't use the black thing. I'm a black man. Wait, hold on, Eric. Hold on. Stop for a second, because you're trying to be incendiary, and this is not the time for it. This is me sharing information with our public, right? The whole statements about the black issue. I wouldn't work here if we're after black men or black people, period. I can tell you he wouldn't. I can tell you any other African American or black male or female that works here wouldn't work here if we're after, if our black citizens are under siege. Not the case. Not at all. I've been alive probably a little bit longer than you have. Haven't had any of these issues. You know why? Because if I was ever stopped by the police, which I was when I was a young man, and they asked me to do something, I did it. Simple compliance. It doesn't rise. It doesn't get out of control. That stuff doesn't happen then. Do as we ask you to do. If you don't like the word compliance, just do as we ask you to do then, so that we can get finished. Then you tell us about it if you feel like your rights were violated, and we can deal with it. That's the way it should work.
Excellent. Nicole, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Listen, I think he is a tremendous sheriff. He didn't come out and say, hey, my guys are 100% right. He said, okay, this is the whole video. I've shown you every kind of purview of this video that happened, but make no mistake, this guy didn't even file a complaint. He was 100% in the wrong. When the police give you a lawful order, whether you like it or not, and this thing with call your supervisor, you really think calling a supervisor out there is going to change anything? You see this all the time on these TikToks. Call your supervisor. The supervisor is going to be even angrier at you than the cop that you're dealing with. I have 19 nephews, number 20 is on the way. And I have told them all their whole lives, do what you're asked to do. Follow the directive. At the end of that process, when I come to get you, you then can tell me about all the wrongs, and we can lawyer up and we can fight them in a way that's meaningful. But what's not going to happen is you're going to see any of my nephews on the side of the road with a broken window getting smashed in the face and dragged on the ground because he refused to take a damn parking or a ticket for not having his windshield wipers on and his lights on in the rain. It is simple. Comply. You don't want to comply because, the police aren't here to help us. Certain communities say that. And when I say certain communities, I mean my community. We say that all the time. This is not an us versus them situation. And I love that this sheriff said that. Don't give me that black stuff. I'm a black man and I would not be here if this police department targeted black people. He shut it down and he did it in a way that left everybody in that room stunned silent. That was absolutely superb. He could teach a master class on how to handle the press when it comes to something like this.
And let me say this. The master class to you dumbass black people that continue to fight the police at these traffic stops is your face will hit the pavement and you'll be roughed up. And yes, he deserved a punch. He should have gave him closed fists, but it was open. it wasn't even a punch. He mushed him with the palm. It was a palm strike. And let's talk about facts and the law. Officers have discretion to use a reasonable amount of force that they think is necessary to gain compliance and detain the suspect. Okay, and that was necessary. 7 times he asked him. He told the suspect to open the door. Open the door. 3 times he said, "Open the door, or we're going to break the window." So he asked him 7 times to just open the door. Then 3 times he said, "Open the door, or we're going to break the window." Another thing. This guy is suspect all the way around. First of all, it took him 6 months to actually do all this stuff, make the outcry about the stop and all this because he wants money. Okay. Next, the reason why he didn't want to comply is because, one, he had marijuana in his right pocket. Okay, he didn't have his lights on, and in inclement weather, and we saw the rain on the window, so it was drizzling somewhat, but there was an overcast as well, and he was driving on a suspended license. He also didn't have his seatbelt on. So again, use of force is predicated on what the officer deems as reasonable, and when he did not, after all that went forward, they had to break his window. Yeah, they say they don't know what he had in the car. Speaking of what he had in the car, there was a knife on the floor when they went through the car. He had a big 12-inch knife on the floor of the car front seat. Okay, folks, when these officers pull you over, the officer doesn't know you. This man had tinted windows also. They don't know you. It is a adversarial meeting. They don't know you. You don't know the officer. You have to comply because this is their lives that are in danger. That guy could have easily, if he had a gun in the car, he could have easily shot that cop. These cops want to go home too. Follow directions. It's as simple as that.
I want to address what's that, Brown Eyes, I think. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't know, fortunately, I do agree with Brown Eyes. I think he's going to win his case, number one.
Yeah, he is.
I think he will. Yeah, unfortunately, Crump is his lawyer. Why, who else would you expect to be, right? I think he's going to win. And let me say this. I'm going to play the other side, if you will. Because he had a knife, carrying knives in Florida or guns are not necessarily illegal. I'm just saying some of the possibilities, right? I don't know if he was barred from having a knife or a gun or any other weapon. I don't know that as far as his legal status or his case or whatever. But I also think Crump is going to argue that whether or not he filed charges right away or 6 months later is irrelevant if he did it within the time frame for the statute of limitations.
Oh yeah, I know he's going to get paid.
So I think he's going to get paid too.
Guess what? For all you guys that are out there, salivating over him getting money, okay? Guess what?
That's tax.
You're paying for it, dummies. You're paying for it because when the city has to pay out on these types of lawsuits that really they shouldn't get a dime. When they do that, you're paying for it out of your insurance, out of property taxes, and so on. You're gonna pay for it when they file these frivolous lawsuits and have to get paid all this money.
And KJ, another thing about this, which is really frustrating and infuriating, is that people like this young man, he is setting an example for other Black men, young men, who will, and because I see this type of behavior, they post this kind of defiance behavior. And this guy just got punched a little bit. Someone else might get seriously hurt or even, not live after this kind of encounter if he resists any further. So this kind of behavior also sets a horrible example. And if he gets paid, that's even worse because it will encourage other people to behave like this with the police.
Well, we're seeing this all over the place. We're seeing people get belligerent with the police now. They do not respect not only police, but any type of authority. Anywhere you go, look at what we're seeing on the airlines now. You can't even take a flight without these people acting a total fool, cussing and fussing and fighting at airline stewardess, at the pilots, anybody in any type of authority. They do not respect it because they're looking for a payday. They're looking for a payday. It really makes me sick. I'm so sick of ignorant people. I really am.
You know what's crazy, KJ? And I'm trying to find the silver lining in this dark cloud for Florida taxpayers are going to have to pony up this money. A fool and his money are soon parted. And he's going to blow through that money like a hot knife through butter. So really, you're just stimulating your own economy in the long run, right? But it's going to suck for the police. It really is going to be, okay, then tell me where the line is, right? It's already tough to recruit police officers. It's super tough to retain them because most of them don't want to have to live through this, to be sued.
Right.
Like and we don't even have the law enforcement officers' Bill of Rights anymore. The Democrat legislature repealed that. So you're not going to see any Maryland cop put any extra effort in. They're crime reporters, right? This crime happened. We'll take a nice report, go to court and see what happens. There's no zeal to go out and get the bad guy anymore because they're not protected. And we should do much better by our law enforcement officers. I, like you, KJ, I'm sick of this. Did you see that story about that girl who showed up in her underwear in a house?
Oh, yeah, with the robe, yeah.
Talking about, and now, and doggone well, a spirit won't let you fly.
Oh, that's what.
It's spirit won't let you. That is the soul plane of the skies. You hear me? It is the Greyhound bus of the skies. If they won't let you fly because you're inappropriately dressed and you feel some kind of way, what are we doing here? You're a whole grown woman. You don't come outside in your bathrobe and your underwear talking about shorts. That's not shorts. Those are drawers. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Culturally, there's a part of
devolved
that's just not going to make it.
And then you have people taking up for this stuff. You got vultures, like bottom feeders, like this illiterate Benjamin Crumb. I call him Crumb. He's a crumb. He's a piece of nothing. He makes me sick. But he gets wealthy off of stuff like this, folks. And all it's doing is it's really tearing down our culture. It's tearing down our communities in our country. And like it takes me back to the quote by John Adams. He says, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. And right now, we have a populace of people that have lost all morality, all virtue, and without a moral foundation, no system of laws or checks and balances can preserve liberty. We're on the verge of chaos because you got a bunch of monkeys like this guy who just can't follow regular directions. We all have been pulled over. I've been pulled over. I was pulled over when I was in South Carolina for driving. I was speeding. The guy pulled over, nice officer, pulled me over, asked me for my license and registration. I complied, and guess what? He said, I see you're here out of state. I'm not going to make you come all the way back here to go to court. Just watch your speed. That's it.
KJ, I got pulled over in the dark of night on the Alabama back road driving from Texas. And I was the only one on the damn road. And the police came out of nowhere because it was so dark. And he told me that I was driving too slow. I kid you not. I was driving too slow. And I was like, what? But, he was nice enough. But again, I didn't wind up facing the ground. I didn't wind up, handcuffs and roughed up or whatever. No, but it's ridiculous. I mean, just officer, get out the car or whatever. Roll your windows down. Just do it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just do it. And not only does this, this hurt officers and things, it hurts us because let me tell you something. And I've worked in the public for a long time. When you start to, and I hate to say this, when you start to interact with people that look a certain way and they're continuing to give you issues, you start to look for this type of person. Okay. And you can get a complex. You can get on edge every time you see this type of person because you've had so many interactions that have gone wrong with this type of person. You begin to say, you sometimes just think this type of person is going to give you an issue. I worked in retail for many, 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 many years. And where I worked, we had a large amount of people that used to come in and steal, and they were black. Actually, they were black gay guys. Okay. You want to be real. It was black gay guys. So I started, I was really, you try to push against it, but you start to, when you see somebody coming in and they look in a certain way and they're doing the same thing, you say, okay, this guy's going to do, he's stealing, he's committing fraud or whatever. These type of people like this idiot are making it dangerous for our black boys. Mm-hmm. Because when police see somebody, they're going to think they're going to give them a hard way to go.
Yeah, but then we expect our police not to do that. We expect them to be able to draw the line. Yeah.
Newsflash, don't feel bad, KJ. Everybody profiles because everybody has a bias, and profiling at the very least is a self-protective mechanism. Believe you me, I profile every damn day because there's certain areas I'm not going to go in, certain areas I'm not going to drive, and if I see certain people doing certain things, looking like certain things in certain places, damn it, you know I'm profiling. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but that's how stereotypes are born. That's how stereotypes are.
Stereotype, bias, profiling. No, I do it.
I get it. No. And that's why people do stereotype and profile, because this type of behavior continues. It doesn't stop. So, like, that's what KJ was saying, is that it perpetuates the stereotype, makes it worse. Even when people want to be, I don't know, what's the word? Blind, race blind, or color blind.
Right.
It's hard to do that when this kind of behavior continues.
Listen, it happens on both sides, though. I will say this, and people are dumb across the board. But when you're dumb to a point where you put your own personal safety at risk, that rises from your average everyday dumb across the board to something very, very specific. And you're right, KJ and Evie, Shelley, you're right. It puts something in their head that, okay, you're a little bit extra above regular dumb. And every time I see somebody with tinted windows driving that kind of make, model of car, I'm going to have to come at them from a certain perspective to protect myself, because I want to go home too. I got a family that loves me too. So I'm not going to get out here and get shot, stabbed, maimed, whatever the new YouTube, euphemism is for jacking up police officers. They want to go home. They just want to help the community protect, and serve, but they want to go home too. They have families just like everybody else, and I'm hopeful that, this jury is going to take into consideration a couple of things. One, I understand that he claims to be a sovereign citizen. So you can't have it both ways. Either, our laws apply to you or our laws do not.
Oh,
so
you know what? We have a clip of him also. Yeah, he responded to the full video and things. We have the clip. It's clip 2. I mean, sorry, clip 12.
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared. And yeah, that's it.
His teeth was actually broke when you still sit there. Could you just, this was a violent encounter.
What I was taught is to, instead of fighting them on the street where we don't have power at, fight them in the courts.
If they're proud of the conduct on the video, then they should release the officers' names.
I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he shot right.
and he did right. To see that is a hurting feeling.
The day I seen that video, I couldn't finish it past the window breaking, but I'm thankful to God for protecting him because I know what the outcome could have been.
My gosh. Whatever. These. What are your thoughts, Shelley? I didn't even know. I hadn't even seen the whole video. Didn't know the whole family looked like Franklin. The turtle. These things. These folks don't have an ounce of intelligence in their bodies. This should have been a lesson for him. A lesson, but they're out here just taking up for this stuff. It's ridiculous.
Look, even if again, let's just say some of the people who are saying it was excessive, let's just say for argument's sake, they have a point, right? I mean, they might. But when I heard that Ben Crump was the attorney, I knew right then and there, right? That's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to know. Now they done brought on the family soul, to give the tears and the acting and, the little quivering lip on the father. And all. I knew it. It was not. This is all for show. This is the diaspora.
Oh. Nicole. They ready. They're going to get paid. They're going to get paid.
And be broke inside of a year. Let me tell you. He's going to have all gold fronts, all gold bottoms. It's just going to be money through a sieve. But what the father should have said, right? Be a father and say, son, you was wrong as two left shoes. And he asked you to give him your information. Give him the information. Oh, wait. You're a sovereign citizen and you don't believe you have to give them your information, then say that. Say that so they can call the sheriff and the sheriff can come over and tell you, you can be as sovereign as you want to, but you're going to take this L, homie. This is what this is. You can go to court and fight later, but just to sit there, lock the door, close the door, and ignore them when they're screaming at you at the top of their lungs, unlock the door, put down the window. They did everything humanly possible for this not to be the outcome. But at some point, you have to comply. Whether you do it willingly or they force you into compliance, you will bend that knee. They will put you face down and secure that scene. You become a greater threat when they think, oh, I can't see what he's doing in the car. He might be loading a gun. He might be like some of these videos I've seen, these crazy young women get in the car, slam the door, and try to take off and run over 5 or 6 cops because they were scared.
That just happened in New York. I think in New York City that just happened, and they killed a 60-year-old woman.
Yeah. It is ridiculous to me. We have got to do better with our youth. I'm just going to say there's a generation we're just going to have to scratch through their name and move on to the next. But this is endemic. It is absolutely. I mean, there's 1,000,001 videos on YouTube of the people taking a simple traffic ticket and turning it into a felony all over the place. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Yana. I have no words. I have no words.
Me neither. This kid, he acts like he never got a real whooping in his life, ever. From that video with the police, the way he behaved and how he almost cried at the end, and to now, where the parents are whispering in his ear what he should be saying, how he was hurt. He never had a real upbringing, and it's unfortunate. And his teeth, did he really lose those teeth at that encounter? Or it just happened like 6 months later and now he's saying, like,
who knows? They all look like, the before of everything after. I mean, that was one family. Maybe I'll change my mind. Give them the money. Because I hope maybe they can help themselves with it. I don't know. It's infuriating. It's infuriating.
Everything is not payday, people. It's just just not.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I had a story once where I had a friend who worked in claims, and an insured hit somebody in an Amish person, a horse and buggy, believe it or not. And it wasn't hardly any damage. I think the horse was hurt or whatever. And the Amish person told him, don't worry about it. Said that it was something in there, the way that they lived, where one, they could only get paid in cash. Like they didn't have any credit cards or anything like that. It was all cash. And they told him just to go on about their way. It was fine. And then the guy who hit the Amish guy he had never seen anything like it before. The way these people handled him and were just very stand-up citizens, that he didn't want to, cause him to get any additional, issues with his insurance and stuff. I just say that to say it's just like, maybe we need to go back to a simpler way of life. Maybe people are expecting too much, and I don't know. It's just.
Well, yes, and the simpler way of life is to follow the authority, what authority is saying. That is how we're supposed to be behaving. Then we wouldn't have these type of situations. Then, just like the sheriff said, you can then talk. If something did go wrong, we have a way to address that later. But yeah, simpler is. We also need to have, I don't know, someone needs to teach these young men, and give them a real whooping early in life.
Yeah, and Trey's Chocolate City said his teeth are very disrespectful. His teeth are disrespectful, wholly disrespectful. The teeth, the mother's eyes, which was like one was here and one was here. The father on there with that crooked haircut. Everything about them was disrespectful. So, as they said on Rounders, pay that man his money. Pay them the money. Give them the money. Give them the money. If they can fix themselves up, maybe that'll help them. All right, folks. We are at the end of our time tonight. I shouldn't talk about people like this. Lord, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I don't mean to talk about people like this. Okay, I really don't. I'm sorry. We're at the end of the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you, every last one of you guys. We're building a community here, a family. We cut up on here. We're just joking somewhat. Subscribe if you found your place. If you are in the right place, we're people who we love our country. We love to laugh. We love to. We're passionate. Subscribe. Join us. We are on a mission to 200,000 subscribers by September, Labor Day. So we need your help. Hit that like button and subscribe. The like button helps to get us out in front of a wider audience. And the subscribe button, you found your people here. You found your community. And that, if you believe that, hit that subscribe button. All right. Final thoughts, ladies, before we go. I'll start with you, Nicole.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
It's so much going on. I mean, we're winning at such an alarming rate. There's so many things that we always wished would happen are happening, but it's all coming at me so fast that it's like, I'm trying to catch it all. And I don't want to miss anything because we've waited so long, right? I don't want to miss one moment. I feel like a little kid on Christmas who knows they're getting a bike, but you got to stay asleep until 6 a.m. so that you can get the bike. Like that franticness is what I'm feeling. But, I'm so thankful to God that we are making great strides to try to right some of the wrongs that have happened in this country. And it does my heart good to see patriots stand up for the American people who may not even be on that side of the political spectrum, to stand up so that we can get our America back. I think it's a good look, even if it makes us tired. It's exhausting, absolutely exhausting.
All right. Yana, final thoughts.
Well, do the right thing. Don't be afraid, because weakness is the root of all evil. If you feel like you're making a wrong decision out of weakness, that you're not doing something right, but you're afraid of something, don't do it. Rethink. Do the right thing, even if it's hard to do. Don't be weak. We got to be strong. We got to keep fighting.
All right. And Shelley, I know you said, think you said there was breaking news tonight from Wall Street Journal.
Oh yeah, that was from the Wall Street Journal. I was reading about the Colombia is going to be paying not the Trump administration, but the federal government $200 million. Basically, I didn't read the whole article yet, but to correct or for their, I don't know, misrepresentation of their policies or whatever. I didn't read the whole article, but I just said another win for this administration going after these universities and their, I guess, DEI policies or whatever.
All
but
right.
My last word is that I'm going to a combination of Nicole and Yana. I am exhausted. I'm irritated. I'm frustrated on one hand about the things that are going on or who have come out about our country that's coming out, a country that I love. And then I'm also encouraged. You know how Twyla Paris, a contemporary Christian artist, she has a song that I need to go listen to it. A Warrior is a Child. And sometimes it talks about warriors getting tired and warriors getting, feeling weary and need to be replenished. And I think that's where a lot of us are tonight. We don't want to be weak, like you said, Yana. We still have more work to do. But right now, I think we just have a sense of like, you know what? We are tired. I'm tired of the things that have been going on in our country. And, maybe we need a rejuvenation.
Yeah. Yeah. A douche. Yeah. I feel the same way. But you know what? I know all of you. I know all of you ladies. We're built for this. We're built for it. And as as I think it says it in the Bible. I know my mother used to say this all the time. God doesn't put more on you than you can handle. He doesn't put on you more than you can handle. And we are built for this, just like all of you are built for this stuff. We fight for our country. We love our country, and we are going to stand and continue to fight until we get what we need, until this nation is where it needs to be. And just breaking news out, former DNI James Clapper, the one who we were talking about, he has reportedly said he's afraid that he'll be arrested for his role in the Russia collusion hoax. So he's lawyered up.
Very afraid.
He shouldn't be afraid. He should pack a bag because it's coming. And he should have long time knew, as someone who's been in law enforcement for a very long time, that there is no breaking the law and hiding your hands. He should have long time knew that. Yeah, they're coming for you. Kiss your kids, hug your cat, honey. You're on the list. We're coming.
What's our state attorney's name? Ivan Bates would say, "Bring your toothbrush."
Oh yeah. Well, that makes me happy. I'm gonna sleep good tonight because they need to be afraid. I want them afraid. Like all the people, like President Trump, like you mentioned, who, I mean, my goodness, they tried to unalive this man. His family, all the patriots that they had to go through all this terrible lies and the things that they lost and had to go throughout all of this were afraid. So it's time for these people to be afraid. So I hope he is, and I hope justice is served. All right, folks, we will see you tomorrow. You got to check out Christian Conservative. I'll be on there tomorrow night. You can check us out on YouTube at KJ Christian Conservative, where we talk about news and pop culture from a biblical conservative perspective. If you missed last night, the All American Talk Show at All American Talk right here on the Metro Conservative Media Network. You can check out their broadcast at All American Talk. Great show last night. Again, going over, they talked about a story out of Kansas City where they have a government-funded grocery store that just went under due to all of the because it's government funded. So great story there. You guys got to check them out at All American Talk. And then again, tomorrow I'll be on at KJ Christian Conservative. And then Saturdays we have Just the Guys podcast. That is an all male podcast giving you the perspective from the male point of view at Just the Guys podcast. So we're here providing you different points of views, all from conservative talk. Definitely check us out. All right. So that does it for us tonight, folks. Thank you all so much. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night, everybody.